and welcome to another episode of the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition's Small Business Forum. I'm your host, David Dadekian, a small business owner here in Rhode Island. I own Eat Drink Rhode Island. And today we're talking with Woonsocket Mayor Christopher Beauchamp. It's very interesting to see what's going on in Woonsocket with small businesses. And let's welcome the mayor. And hello, sir. How are you?
David, good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Thank you. Woonsocket was recommended to us to talk about small business. It's that not really neglected, quarter of the state, but sometimes it doesn't get the love that it should. And I don't think that's right. I think there's a lot of great businesses up there, and I'm sure you'll tell us about those. But why don't we start with a little bit about your background? How did you come to be mayor? What's your background there?
So I was in the asphalt paving business for 40 years. And the company in Providence has been in business 132 years this year. So,
wow,
fifth generation owner of the company is there now running it. My father, myself, my brother, my son, my nephew, we're all in that business with that family. So we have strong ties to the paving industry, and it's a great company. And as I mentioned, they're a small business.
Yeah,
they're in Providence, but I look at the small businesses in Woonsocket, David, as, I like to look at the legacy businesses that have been here for a while, right?
sure.
Whether it's third, fourth generations working at some of these businesses. We have a small lumber yard that's still in business despite the big box companies coming in, the Home Depots and the Lowe's of the world. They managed to survive because they had a niche, right?
Sure.
And I think most small businesses, if you have a niche, you have a good product, you have people that represent the business very well, I think you can survive. But it's tough and it's challenging now, obviously, in this day and age with everything going on. So, it's funny. This is a very apropos time to have this little chat. I went to a restaurant that just opened up in Woonsocket about a month ago. And I've been by it a few times and don't see many cars there. It's, in a place that was established well before with other businesses for many years, restaurant, bar type thing. So me and my wife and a friend went there on Friday night. The first thing I mentioned when I walked in, the lights were very bright. So I said, you got to dim the lights. This is not like Spotlight on Talent, right?
Right.
And she took the constructive criticism, if you will, very well. And I came back for dinner after, and the lights were turned down, and we had a great meal. And it's, small businesses, as you know, are the lifeblood of what every city, town, and state does in this country.
Right.
Small businesses are the backbone.
Yeah.
So I can't forget them. I would love new businesses coming in, but I also can't forget, as I said earlier, the businesses that have already, gave their sweat equity and invested in Woonsocket for 50 plus years. And we have probably about 40, 50 of them.
Sure. Yeah. No, I
category.
think that's obviously key. I mean, I think I'm in the food sector, and you've got some great restaurants up there in Woonsocket, and new ones opening, like you said. But yeah, the ones that have been around for a while, you need to still support. Everyone's chasing after the new exciting thing sometimes in the food world, but you still got to support those ones that have been there for a while.
We have a business called Yield English Fish and Chips, 102 years.
Yep.
And I can tell you the paving people that I work with, the superintendents at my company, they used to travel from Providence on Fridays to get fish and chips there. So, it's what you do, it's your niche, how you can, get control of a market sector, if you will, and people come back for good food, good service. It doesn't have to be a restaurant. If you treat people fairly,
right,
and you give them a fair price on a product that you're selling, people will come back. So I am very optimistic about what's happening in Woonsocket overall. And, I've lived here all my life, 66 years, and I'm not going anywhere.
That's fantastic.
I'm happy about where we are. Do we have our challenges? We do. But again, I make it a habit to not only recognize the small businesses that are open, and we have ribbon cuttings like everybody does, but then it's not just a ribbon cutting and then you forget them. You check up on them, right? I have staff to check up on them. How you doing? What do you need? Can you retain staff? How you doing with your business model? All that kind of stuff, right? And some small businesses, when they start out, that every small business, I should say, they got a great ambition, right? The owners of this new business are like gung-ho. They're ready to go. but maybe they don't know all the challenges that will come. And that's why, I'd love to see businesses here on Main Street in Woonsocket, not on a month to month, but year to year. So
Sure.
sustainability, right? And how do we accomplish that? Well, we're working with the education department down the street, Woonsocket Education Center, with Skills RI, that's
Yep.
created a hub with some investment from the city and the city council to have classes so people know how to sustain their businesses, whether it's legal advice or financial advice, that type of stuff. Because you only know what you know, right? You're
Exactly. No, it's very
opening your
true.
business, right? So to me, that's been a very positive thing here in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. That is how the city came into the radar. I mean, we look, cover the entire state, the Small Business Coalition. We really tried to focus on all businesses across the spectrum because small business is the number one sector in the state as a whole. But when Socket popped up, you specifically to talk to is because I had Nita Pandey from Skills for Rhode Island on the show about a month or so ago, and she mentioned that Woonsocket was their trial run for a locally based version of what they do for the whole state. And so she said, you've been very welcoming, and then it's been very productive so far.
Yeah, we had a CEO roundtable last week. There were probably 30 to 40 people there, maybe half a dozen to a dozen businesses. And I got emails already from the people that attended how great they thought it was and giving us suggestions how we can do better, how we can sustain this talking of businesses that have been here instead of just, visiting them and seeing them, sit down on a round table. What's working? What can we do better? What are we doing that's working? That type
Mhm.
of stuff. I was very excited. It was a 2-hour kind of roundtable discussion, and it was basically them telling us, what we can do and what we can do better. And we took that advice to heart. And Nina and her staff and Jill Crowley that runs it, the education center, they were great. And people don't know, David, that we have that opportunity for people to come to the education center and try to just figure out what's working for their business or what's not.
Right.
Step in the door. People are there to give you all kinds of advice on different matters. So I'm excited that that's here, and we're going to promote it as much as we can.
Yeah, I was looking at the website this morning. I mean, you've got business coaching, marketing and branding support, human resource support. So all sorts of resources there at the hub. That is it's really really fantastic because like you said, a lot of small business owners have a great idea. They're qualified in some areas, but no one can be qualified in all areas.
Yeah.
So that's really nice to see that there, and that is we'll link all that up when I post this show. We'll link all that in the notes and everything, so that you can find the Small Business Hub there. It's the Woonsocket Small Business Hub is the full name of it up there in
Correct.
Woonsocket. I know as mayor, obviously, we're going to talk about small business. That's the focus of this show and everything. But obviously, you've got you got to keep the streets plowed. You got all sorts. The trash has to be picked up. All these other things that are part of the infrastructure of your city, and which is also vitally important to small businesses. I think about the utilities, the cost of energy that we've had to deal with lately. We've discussed that with the governor's office. How do you feel, with all the other things going on in the day to day of the city? How do you feel, Woonsocket is progressing over the last few years?
I think it's doing much better than we did. And my main focus as the mayor is not to micromanage people or get in their business when I shouldn't. It's to be a cheerleader, right? You're the CEO of the city, if you will, but also to kind of educate people of what we can do to help them. Like, we have limited financial resources, but
Sure.
we have some. We get grants for facade grants where you can, apply for a $5,000 grant and put a new sign on your building, right? We had 20 of those where we had $100,000 and 20 people applied for that, and they got a new sign on their building that needed some attention.
That's great. Yeah.
So things like that, people don't know they're available. We have a new newsletter for the city of Woonsocket we put out every month that highlights these things that we have at City Hall, but also highlighting the businesses that are here that are coming, right? And to me, educating the community about what we have, what we don't have, where we can help, where we may need other resources, I think is important. because people it's a daunting task to open a small business, even if you got all your family helping and you got good original staff with you. It's daunting in these times. So I think this by working and communicating, building relationships. I say it all the time. That's the key for me: building relationships. What may work today may not work 3 years from now. What I couldn't do today, maybe I can do next year, money wise, grant wise. So, keep the door open no matter what, even if things don't work out this particular moment. So I've educated myself in with the city and what's here. And like I said, I've been here all my life. I'm not going anywhere. So I know a lot of the legacy businesses, but I want to still talk to them. Businesses have been here over 100 years, have 140 employees, but maybe you only have 20 or 30 from Woonsocket. How can we do better? How can we keep people that may have barriers with, transportation, keep them in the city, get a good paying job in the city, those type of things. So I've been, working with the governor's staff and other people to try to figure out some of those barriers that maybe Woonsocket can't do, but other people's help, we can get there.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, living there, your whole life, I think there's a value. We kid around sometimes in Rhode Island. You have to know a guy, but there's a value in also knowing, who you could turn to, who you can look to, and if you stay, like you said, interested in the new businesses as well as those legacy businesses, you can really connect people in a good way. I would hope.
Yeah, no, and we meet once a week as a staff, and we try to figure out from public safety to our schools to our
Right.
business. We talk about everything, right? Because when people are looking to locate somewhere, what do they ask for? Public safety. How's the schools? How's the business climate? I mean, those are the first three things. Can we do better on some of those things? Yes, and we are. But it's a matter of, like I said, sitting down with everybody that's involved. Just because I am the mayor doesn't mean I have all the answers, nor do I want to have all the answers. I need input.
Yeah.
And what I may think works, somebody will tell me, well, we tried that. It's not the best thing. We're going to go in another direction.
Sure.
And I joke, I tell everybody my new name is Chris Pivot Beauchamp. A lot of pivoting.
Well, the last few years, really, that is the key. Pivoting is the way to the way of the world now. Yeah. Well, that's good. So now you've got within the city government, you have an economic development office that's under planning.
We do, but it's understaffed. And
Okay.
that's been part of the problems here that, financially, Woonsocket has its challenges, right? And, we've been in the news for some of those reasons, although we've gotten a new finance director here. We're getting control of our finances with our audits and everything else. And that's a key. If we got to get our house in order too, right? To be able to help people. And we're doing that. But what I find very helpful is when I go into a business, whether I'm there to shop or there to just say hello, talk to that business and figure out not just hi, how you doing? I'm the mayor. What's working? What's not working?
Right.
What can we do better? Is the infrastructure at the place? Somebody made a great point about Woonsocket is situated, and we've said this many times, between Worcester, Providence, Boston. We have a good location to major cities around us to maybe attract people to come to our city because maybe our housing is a little bit cheaper. We need more housing. That's a factor I'm looking at because we have vacant buildings on Main Street that housing
Yeah.
is looking at. People are looking to develop housing, commercial on the first floor. And to me, that's vital because we have density and we have the infrastructure, two things that are critical, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people think density is a problem, but it's not. If you can get
Oh,
to
yeah.
everything you need in a short walking or bus route, right? The
Yeah.
people that don't have transportation, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I had mentioned that somebody else brought it up from the governor's office that those are assets we have, right? And surrounding communities that are more suburban than we are rural don't have that stuff where they
Absolutely.
have
Yeah.
wells and they have septic systems. Woonsocket's got the infrastructure, which is a good benefit.
Yeah, yeah, you've had, I've been to some breweries there. I think, like you said, infrastructure for that is key. They use a lot of water, but also I think, just thinking about the cities itself. I've been, many times, and it makes me happy that I can just walk around and on those main streets downtown there, and not have to, deal with cars and parking and all that. And it is unique, relatively unique to Woonsocket. Obviously, Providence has that, and other towns have some small main street areas, but really Woonsocket is a walkable and very easy to get around and usable city, which I think is a value of key.
I agree. Our Main Street area where City Hall is located, and then we have the Stadium Theater, which is
Yeah,
probably our biggest economic driver, right? They
yeah,
do upwards of 200,000 people a year come to the stadium shows there. And it's a miniature PPAC, right? It's beautiful, 1,200 seats, give or take, no bad seat in the place, and people come from all over. My goal in working with our team here at Cities Hall is people come from Massachusetts and surrounding communities outside of Woonsocket. How do we keep them here after a show or
yeah,
before a show? We got great restaurants, but maybe if we had some things that could keep them here for another hour after the show that gets out at 10:30, that's what we're trying to attract people to come, right? So they spend their dollars here as opposed to saying, oh, we're going to go somewhere else. So we're working on those issues, and some of them are, a little bit more weighty than others. We are having a bunch of paving projects, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but that's what I know. So paving
yeah.
projects
Just
where
that it's your world. Yeah,
it's what I know where we're improving infrastructure. We're improving the appearance of our downtown,
right.
right?
Yeah,
We're improving the lighting, the signage for parking areas. We've done all that, and we're going to do better because I know people that drive here. It's a little quirky city, a lot of one ways, right? You want to figure out where you're going, how to get there, where you park, are you safe, all those things.
yeah.
So those things are a bit challenging, but we're doing much better.
Well, as long as you're aware of it, that's the first step right there, and then that's key to trying to fix those things. And I want to just, I didn't want to single out any one particular business, but the stadium is a great spot. And for those of you around Rhode Island or Massachusetts who are watching this and haven't been there, you really should check out the Stadium Theater. Check out what they have for programming because it is. I mean, like you said, it's a miniature PPAC. It really is. It's a beautiful theater, and it should be a lifeblood of that community in many ways.
Yeah, so I mean that is at one end, and at the other end, we got great restaurants, but we
Yeah,
also have the Museum of Work and Culture, which is about 15 years old, but the history it tells of the city of Woonsocket, which was obviously a mill town back in its day, and I hear people all the time say, "I want Main Street to be like it was in the 40s, 50s, 60s, where you had multiple stores." I would love to see that too, but retail is not. They moved out,
yeah,
right? We do have some retail here, but it's not going to be what it was at one time because things change and you have
right.
to adapt. And to me, that's the key. We have to adapt of what businesses need, how they retain customers, and that's by talking to them and figuring out where we can help. And that's what we've been doing.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a great conversation. It's nice to learn about Woonsocket and see what's going on there. I hope a lot of people, learn something or just know how much, how much Woonsocket has come along the last few years and how much it's a great spot to visit and hopefully, start your small business there or support small businesses there. Anything you want to say before we go?
We are having the downtown holiday stroll, and that is on December 6th, which is coming up. So
Great.
if you want to get in the holiday spirit, we got a great event on Main Street. We have the Polar Express here, which is also a great
Oh yeah.
thing for the city. So Woonsocket's got some things happening. Look at our newsletter. Go on our webpage, City Hall, on the City Hall webpage. And if you got any questions, you're free to call us, and we'll help you any way we can.
Excellent to hear. Yes, I'll link all that up down below. And thank you again for your time today, sir. It was really a great conversation. That is Woonsocket Mayor Christopher Beauchamp. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
You too. All right. I hope you learned something about Woonsocket, or you're going to head up there and check it out. Thank you again to the mayor for having that conversation with us. And as always, thank you to those of you out there watching. We appreciate it. Take care.